Hello, my name is Edgar Wilson, Dynamics 365 Technical Specialist here at Microsoft. Allow me to present to you the prospective customer service experience solution that we envision for Britax, leveraging the Dynamics 365 platform. We hope that you enjoy it and can envision how this robust solution can streamline your customer service processes internally. Okay, so here we are within the Dynamics 365 customer service solution known as Unified Service Desk. So just a little background about Unified Service Desk. It's the customer service experience solution for this robust solution. And it encompasses the built-in integration with Skype for Business, also has the ability to resolve callers based on the phone number when dialing in to be able to scour the Dynamics 365 database. And it also encompasses the ability to associate a call script. So maybe you want to have a certain type of call script based on the product, or whether it's a stroller or a car seat, what have you. You'll be able to configure all of that leveraging Unified Service Desk, and it's very simple to actually administer those call scripts and put them within the Unified Service Desk. So here we are within our dashboard. So the first thing that I see when I come into the Unified Service Desk will be this customer service social dashboard. And notice when I click here, I actually have the ability to view multiple kind of pre-canned dashboards that I have here. I'm logged in right now as what would be a customer service manager, so I will have access to more of these dashboards. But let's say, for instance, your customer service reps, you only want them to have access to maybe one or two dashboards. You can certainly filter the security in order to just allow them that. So here, you can see that I have access to see kind of the cases by the priority, whether they be high, low, or normal, based on the type of issue that they're having. Here I can see system posts, so it'll let me know if any cases or contacts have been created here in the system. Down here I'm able to see the active cases by the agent, so I can kind of see who has active cases open. I could also see who has the most cases closed out, the most high priority cases closed out, what have you. And then over here to the right, I get a nice view of all of the active negative issues or cases that are currently open. I can see, the case number, the customer that this is associated to, the product for which this case is for, the status of it, when it was created. So all of this information can be configured in the system. Very simple to do so. And here, you have the ability to actually toggle what view it is you're seeing. So if I click on my active cases, I'm seeing a little bit different flavor of this, some different columns. Notice the created on is over here to the left. So I have the ability to configure this, and now this is filtering only cases that are associated to me. And one thing to keep in mind with these dashboards is that they're very simple to create, and all of this that you're seeing is configurable here in the system. So the creation of the charts, even to the granularity of the color of the charts, you can actually dictate, kind of what it is that your customer service reps or managers will see in the system. So now we want to hop into the actual demonstration. We will do two scenarios. So in the first scenario, we have a caller call in, which we do not have within our Dynamics 365 system. Recently bought a Britax stroller, and they're having issues with actually opening the stroller. So we're going to create a contact based on that call coming in, and then we'll go ahead and create a case for that. And then the second demonstration, we will have that initial session open for that first caller, but then we'll be taking notes for that session, and then another call will come in for a question about a return that was supposed to be received, and we'll be able to kind of work both of those simultaneously. and then that will conclude the demonstration. So what I'd like you to notice is over here to the right, we have the IntelliCTI connector. So this is actually what links into your Skype for Business. So this is actually going to perform the screen pop functionality and the scouring of the database, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and do a test call. So I'll call a number that I know is not within the database. So I'll click here on our telephony server kind of simulator. And as you can see, I'll go ahead and answer this. As you can see down here, no matches were found. So it's gone out, it searched the database for this phone number and was not able to find one. So now I have a few options. Basically, these first two steps have been done already. So now I'll go ahead and just create this caller. So I'll say this is John Doe, and his account, we'll say it's the Doe, and we'll just click create. So after we click create here, we've entered, some base information such as the first and last name and the account, which in this case is actually going to be the household. So John Doe is associated with the Doe household in this case. So there are other functions embedded within this IntelliCTI connector, which we'll kind of talk about a bit more during this demonstration. So over here to the right, you'll notice that we have the ability to search for knowledge base articles. Here in the center pane, based on that information that I put into the CTI connector, it's actually going to create this contact record, John Doe's contact record here in this center pane. And over to the left, it'll actually have our call script. So you can see here that this will actually update and say, welcome John Doe, thank you for calling. It says Woodgrove, but it will be Britax. How can I help you today? So all of this is embedded here out of the box. This can certainly be configured. So if we wanted to kind of move this knowledge base search until it was necessary, we could certainly do that. And we can also update the vernacular here that's within this call script. So now I'll give you a brief kind of overview of the lay of the land for the contact record. Here you can see the basic contact information, the household, email, phone number. If you wanted to gather the Twitter and Facebook account, you could do that. The primary method of contact, you could associate that here. Here I could see a list of any cases that were here for John Doe, so any open or closed cases. Obviously this is a new customer that we just created in the system, so no cases. Also children, so the ability to associate a child was a requirement of Britax. So we configured a mechanism here that will allow you to quickly associate a child with John Doe. So I'll just say Jacob Doe, and his date of birth, let's say, was born March 6th. He's 0 at the moment, and we'll click save. So as you can see, we were able to quickly associate a child, which you could actually leverage this information utilizing the marketing module within Dynamics CRM. So let's say, we wanted to market to families that have 3 or more children, or 2 or more for our strollers that are under the age of 2. We could certainly create a marketing list based on this date of birth and the number of child records to create that marketing list. Here you can see we have our order information. We also have the ability to associate an address here. So let's just say I wanted to say this is 123 Elm Street. And I don't know the actual city, but we'll just say we're in South Carolina. And notice when I click done here, it's actually going to try to resolve the full address here in the system. So here you can see that I'm able to select the address that the system was able to find, and it will associate that address there. So as you can see here, down here in the social pane, I'm able to associate any notes that I wanted to. So I could say a test note here. And I also have the ability to associate documents. So if I wanted to browse on my machine for a specific document, let's just say this, I could certainly do that as well. And the fact that we had a call is automatically going to associate a call activity with this record. So as you can see here, it says William Gates III, who I'm playing in this scenario, had a call with John Doe here today. All right, so that's a little bit of the lay of the land for the contact. Over here to the left, you'll notice your call script. So here, we would have that base information. If I had their social info, such as their Facebook or Twitter, I would also be able to see that information here as well. Here, I would be able to see any associated cases. I don't currently have any, being that this is a new customer. I could also see notes. So let's just say that John Doe is having an issue with his stroller, so we need to create a new service request. I'll click this new service request, and notice that it takes us to a couple of new steps that we'll need to take in this tree based on the new service request for contact call script. So here I could click this to verify the customer info, and this is really illustrative of the fact that Dynamics 365 has the ability to interact with virtually any system you currently have today. So for instance, if you needed to pop over to another system to verify information, or you wanted to look at your ERP to see past orders, you have the ability to integrate that data, or you could actually embed that data and be able to pop into it within the actual commission of creating a case. So that's really nice to have directly embedded in the system. So let's say, yes, we verified the customer information that we see here, that all looked good. So now we need to go ahead and create a case. So if I just click this create a case, you'll notice here at the top, it's actually going to open up a new incident screen here, which this is actually where I will enter the information for the case. I could save and route information. I will, as soon as this opens, we'll go through kind of the process here. And I also have the ability to, that same knowledge base search that I was able to do within this left pane section here, I could also do that directly within an incident, as I'll show you here in just a second. So as you can see here, the first thing I want you to notice is this business process flow. So similar to the call script, if there's a specific type of process that needs to be adhered to, let's say based on a specific product or the severity of a case, we have the ability to associate or create a business process to ensure that your customers are met with the same type of experience every time. Or if internally there's certain aspects that you absolutely need during the commission of a case, we could associate those here at the top. So as you can see, I have to first find my customer, find a contact, and then find a case. Being that this red asterisk notates that it is the only required field that I have in this process, I could move this to the next stage. But first, let me go ahead and enter a case title. So we'll say problem stroller. Actually, let's just say damage stroller. And let's save this. So now you can see here that actually we're able to progress this to our research stage. So I'll just click here to go to the next stage, and there will be a new list of information that I actually must address for this particular case. So, and this is all configurable. It's one thing to keep in mind. So now we're here at resolve. We could associate as many data elements as we need to within these processes, or we can completely take this off if we feel that this is a bit too much for our customer service reps to have to go through. So let me minimize that. Over here to the left, you'll see your basic case details. So here I could associate a specific subject with this. So this could be a query. Was this about product? Was it about delivery, maintenance? In this case, we'll just say products. And one thing to keep in mind, again, is that this is configurable. So I'll just select products. Contact, we already have our John Doe contact, so we don't need to associate that. Here I could put the origin of this. We'll say it came from the phone, and this could also be automated as well. And here I have the ability to associate a product. So if I wanted to come in here and let's just say, for the sake, I know this is a car seat, but we'll just associate the Be Safe 35 here. So you have the ability to actually associate specific products as well, which you can perform metrics on if needed. Over here to the right, you can see that it automatically searched the knowledge base based on the name of this title. So here we have damaged or defective products, Be Safe product specs. So if I just wanted to click in here to actually open this, I could, kind of view this, view all of the basic information here. It actually allows you to associate video as well as photos. So as you can see here, it's able to append the Britax kind of logo for the site and specific information directly from the site here. So a customer service rep never has to leave the system and actually bounce around to find information. They'll be able to see all of it right here. And if I wanted to, I could actually email this out directly to the customer. Let's say, hey, I want you to take a look at this link. And then, maybe this will address your issue. So by simply clicking here, if I have an email address associated, it will automatically send this out to the individual. So I could say here, send this to John Doe, and here's all my information. I'll just click Save and Close. John Doe actually doesn't have the email address, so it would have given me a pop-up message if I would have tried to send that saying, hey, John Doe does not currently have an email set up in the system here. So let's go back and kind of take a look at the rest of this case form. And one thing to notice is the fact that this is now blue. Just letting me know that this has been associated to a particular case record. And another thing to keep in mind is over time, as these knowledge base articles are associated to cases, the system actually becomes smarter and will be able to automatically resolve that this may be the knowledge base article that you want to leverage for this particular case, even outside of just the name that you see here. So here is the SLA information. So if you have service level agreements in place with your customers, let's say that they need to have a first response within the first 5 hours, which you can see here, and the actual issue needs to be addressed within 6 hours and I guess 15 minutes, you could associate both of those here, and then your overall timer just letting you know where you are in this session. So based on when this case is resolved, or when a phone call takes place, or any facet of the system that you want to actually update this, we can mark this as succeeded to ensure that emails and text messages don't go out stating that, hey, this timer reached a certain number and nothing was ever done with this. So this is out-of-the-box information that you have here, or out-of-the-box functionality rather. It's very simple to configure here in the system. Also, another requirement was the ability to be able to create orders as well as RMAs directly within the context of a case. So let's just say, for instance, that I need to go ahead and send out a new stroller to John Doe. So I'll just click New here, and it'll automatically launch a new order screen. So here I can actually create my order. I will be able to associate my products, and then this will filter over to your fulfillment team to actually ship out this product, and you'll still be able to see that information due to the the bidirectional integration that will be built between the Dynamics 365 system and your fulfillment system. So as soon as this comes up, we will go ahead and create an order here in the system. All right. So as you can see here, I can enter an order name, or we could have this predefined. I'll just name this replacement stroller. Associate a specific price list for this. I'll just say it's the default price list. And then when is this delivery requested? We'll just say Monday the 20th. And click Save. And actually, let's go ahead and associate John Doe here to this order. And now, if we scroll up here to the top, what you'll notice is this product section. Now we can actually associate the products that will be needed for this particular order. So scroll back up here to the top, and I'll click this plus here. So I could actually leverage an existing product. You could have an integration in place with your ERP system, actually bring those products in, which is really nice because it can keep up with inventory. So you kind of know, what's being shipped out versus what you have in inventory. But in this case, I'll actually just utilize a write-in product, and I'll say Britax stroller. And we'll just say that, we shipped out just one unit of this. And actually, let me maximize the screen a bit. And now I could associate, what this estimated value is going to be. The agreement information, which you can see here. So we have the ability to associate as many order lines as needed. So I can select my product, put our price per unit. Here, we'll just say $0 for this. Quantity is 1. Or we could say, it really is $2.99, but we're going to give a discount. Kind of an override discount of $2.99 here, which you can see. I'll click Save, and now it'll actually write this back to that actual order that we have in the system, which you can see here. So we have here our replacement stroller associated to the case, and then we'll be able to see the date it was submitted, as well as the date that it was fulfilled, all directly here in the system. And we'll also be able to see RMAs, so if we need to actually perform any RMAs, we can do so directly here in the system. And I'll show you that within our next demonstration, actually, which we will do now. So let's say, for instance, that we've told the caller, hey, we're going to have to give you a call back to get all of the information. Notice when I click cancel on this, which actually simulates hanging up the phone, it automatically pops up a call wrap up. So I'll just say, call with John, created an order for replacement stroller, and we'll call back with details. And then, obviously I'm going to need to get back in touch with this guy. So let's go ahead and create a follow-up for this actual incident. And what this does in the system is it'll automatically create what's called a follow-up record that will, kind of notify me that, hey, you need to call this guy based on what we have set up here in the system. So I'll just go ahead and click OK on this. And now what we'll do is we will simulate a second phone call coming in from another customer. But as you can see here, we're still within this session. So we still have John Doe's information up here. But let's actually simulate a separate call. So I'm going to do someone that I know is in the system. So we'll click Simulate. And as you can see here, it's automatically brought up Kelly Clarkson, songwriter, singer-songwriter. So I'll answer this. And let's just say in the case of Kelly Clarkson, she had a case that was open and, was to actually created an RMA and was to receive a replacement, but has not yet received that. So she's calling in to, check on the status of that RMA. So here I could actually, very similar to what you saw earlier, I could, perform a knowledge-based search. That shouldn't be necessary in this case. I'll just need to be able to see her older cases. Perhaps it was closed out erroneously, and we need to actually hop in there and take a look at what's going on with that. So over here to the right, or to the left rather, obviously I can see the cases that are open for Kelly. And let me kind of pop this open. I can see here on her contact record the children that are associated. Doesn't look like any open cases are there. Here are the orders, and then obviously a lot of calls have taken place here. So those call wrap-ups, every time I enter the information in those, it's written back directly to Kelly Clarkson's contact record. So you'll always see the interactions between your customer service reps and Kelly. So in this case, let's say this is an existing service request. I could still go out and verify my customer info within kind of a separate database. So I could come over here and, if I'm not seeing an order that she's referring to, maybe I want to pop over to our ERP system and then I could verify it there. And then I could actually select the case. So let's just say it was this B35 return that she's having a question about. So I've performed the select case process. And now as this actual incident opens, I'll be able to see all of the information that was associated prior. And maybe this was done by another service rep. I'll be able to see that information. And I could also associate new information directly from this if this has not yet been resolved here in the system. So once this incident comes up, we will go through and take a look at the RMA that Kelly Clarkson entered to see kind of what the status of that is. So you can see here that we still have our business process flow, the social pane, all of that information. And then here, okay, I do see her RMA. I can see the RMA number, the customer, the date that this was requested, and I could still see that this is pending. So needless to say that I need to escalate this. So let's just say that I want to escalate this and route this to our fulfillment process. So I'll just click route, and there would be an active rule in place that says, okay, do you want to route this to another individual or, fulfillment or what have you? Or I have the ability to add this to a specific queue. So let's say that fulfillment had their own specific queue, which in this case we'll just call it Don Henley, and click add. And now I've moved this into a particular queue where it can be addressed. And one thing to notice also is that this SLA information has expired. So we can actually put triggers on here that say, okay, once this reaches expired, we need text messages and emails, task records to be created, thrown on the Outlook calendars to inform everyone that, hey, this issue has not been addressed. So utilizing out-of-the-box workflow, you'll be able to have that very powerful capability to kind of streamline those processes. Also notice that over here to the right, these knowledge base articles, I have the ability to see how many times they were viewed. So this Be Safe product specs was viewed 13 times, damaged or defective products 1, so on and so forth. So very nice to be able to see who's leveraging your knowledge base articles. So let's say that we need to go ahead and just resolve this. I'd like to kind of show you what happens during the actual resolution of a case. So I'll just click here. Actually, oh, we'll follow our tree. So I've searched for my solution here in the system. I could actually send an email. We'll kind of forego that. Let's say that I don't need to. Notice that we have the Bing search capabilities built in. When I click search for a solution, it went out to Bing and actually searched proactively out there for me. So that we can bounce back over here to our case record. I could send an email. Maybe I want to add a step to automatically send an email. You can see that it pops up with an email screen directly here, all within our service desk. And again, these call scripts that you see here are completely configurable here in the system. So if this is not something that you want to be a part of it, maybe you want to insert an article or a template for something, you could do that. And then update the notes. So let's say that, we needed to actually enter some notes here. So let's just say that, we had a phone call. I'll just say test. And there I can actually see anytime I open this case that, okay, there was a note written there. And now I can actually go ahead and resolve this case. So one thing to notice when we resolve this case is that it'll automatically lock this case down and will no longer be able to be updated. So I do have the ability to actually reopen this case if needed, or if an individual on the customer service team had the rights to do so, they would have the ability to automatically reopen a case if needed. So we've resolved this case. We have our 2 sessions open. And one thing I also wanted to highlight here in the system is the fact that we have the built-in survey solution. So let's just say that, after the resolution of a case, we wanted to automatically send out surveys directly from Dynamics 365. And it's extremely easy to configure these here in the system. I'll show you what they look like. But here's an email. We sincerely thank you for your business. Britax customer service wants to ensure that you've received world-class service and wanted to solicit your feedback by clicking this link. So this is a sample survey that I've configured here in the system. It's very simple. If you can create a halfway decent PowerPoint, just utilizing drag and drop, you could perform the same action here with these surveys. So very nice to have this functionality here right at your fingertips. So actually, let me open this in a separate browser. I've had some browser issues. So let me just open this up in Google Chrome. And here we are. So here you can see our member success survey. So we have the ability to, agree or disagree. We could do stars. We could actually have the customer write out all of this information. So this is a very simple success survey that I've created here, but you could certainly get a lot more detailed and complex if needed. And these answers actually filter back into Dynamics 365. So you'll be able to, gauge your customer service reps, how well are they doing, so on and so forth directly here in the system. And again, very simple to configure here. So that is a brief overview of the demonstration. We touched on quite a bit in a very short amount of time. So most certainly if you have questions kind of about the solution itself or about capabilities of the solution, please do not hesitate to reach out and we'll certainly be able to address those for you. Thank you again for your time and have a terrific day.